these chains, you must be wondering what these chains are for. Well, people think I'm a madman now. They think I'm crazy. They think I'm bound by these chains. Well, that's what I used to think about all those Christians out there. I took them for fools and heretics. They were Jews, and then this guy shows up claiming to be the Son of God. And he told he was a Messiah. Jesus. I used to hate that name. I used to hate that man. I used to hate every single follower of his. And I was determined to just destroy this newfound faith because it was against all my beliefs and all that I had been taught from my childhood. So I went after one after another. I went from one door to another, hunting down every single follower of this Jesus. I was just determined to just destroy it. That's how much hatred I had for this religion. Because I thought they were all going against God. And it turned out that I was the one going against God. But God, at His chosen time, chose to reveal His Son, Jesus, to me. You all know about the road to Damascus, that bright light and me getting knocked off the horse. And that day, this wretched soul of Tarsus was found by the love of God. I heard the voice of that very Jesus I assumed to be dead, of that very Jesus I was persecuting. That day, my life changed. All that while I was thinking that my righteousness as a Pharisee is going to get me saved. But what a fool I was to think so. I was saved because Christ died for this ungodly, wretched Paul. Christ died for this sinful, wretched man while I was still a sinner. That's how I was saved. That's how God chose to prove His love to me. I serve Jesus now. And life hasn't been so easy after that. Life hasn't been free of trials after that. To say about it, 5 times I received from the Jews 40 lashes minus 1. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was pelted with stones. 3 times I was shipwrecked. I've spent a night and a day in the open sea. I've been constantly on the move. I've been in constant danger from rivers, from my fellow Jews and Gentiles. I've been in danger in the country, in the city, and in the sea. I've been in danger from my false believers. I've labored and toiled, and I have often gone without sleep. I've known hunger and thirst, and I've often gone without food. I've known cold and nakedness, and there have been times when everyone has just left and fled, and I've been so alone, surrounded by those prison walls. And I'm persuaded that none of this loneliness, none of this change, none of this prison life is ever going to separate me from the love of God through Jesus Christ. Well, people ask me, is Jesus worth all this? Is Jesus worth all this change and this suffering? Well, yes. Jesus is worth it. Jesus is worth all this suffering. Because that's how much Jesus loved me. And even if I have to go through this 100 times again, not just once or twice, but 100 times, I would still do it. I would still choose to suffer for my King. But now, I see some people just waver in their faith and give up this life that they committed once to God. They are scared. They're acting like cowards. Well, what did they think they were signing up for? A life full of bed of roses? A life of comforts? No. They signed up to be bond servants to a perfect and good master. That is what they signed up for. This life isn't for cowards. This life isn't for the faint-hearted. This life isn't for ungrateful men who forget their allegiance and commitment. This is for people who love God. This is for people who are fully committed. What a life this is. That is what people might be thinking. But what I'm seeing is they are going after a garbage. They are going after a world which is nothing. What does this world have for you and for me? It has nothing. This isn't our home. This isn't our home. Our citizenship is in heaven. Until we reach there, we have souls to win. We have race to run. All those people around us, all those Jews, Greeks, and Gentiles, and all those people around us, they need to hear this truth. They need to hear about this Jesus. Or else they'll be damned. And every time I remember them in chains, I remember them in tears and tell God, God, please send someone. Because they need to hear this truth. They need to hear about this Jesus, or else they'll be damned. That's what I ask God. People around us need to hear about this Jesus, or else they'll be damned. Somebody must go. Somebody must go. I'm not sure where they'll take me next. Maybe back to the prison, or outside to have me beheaded. But I'm already dead. I've already died. I've been crucified with Christ. And the life that I now live, I no longer live it for myself, but I live it for Christ, who gave himself for me, who loved me. That is what my life is all about, love. This world is garbage. This world is nothing. I am determined to just keep following my Christ. Because for his sake, I'm ready to count everything else as loss. Everything that this world offers, this comfort, this happiness, this joy, these temporary things, all these temporary materialistic blessings, I'm ready to count it as loss because Christ died for this Paul while he was still a sinner. And I know that no sacrifice that I ever make is going to be too much. Every big sacrifice of mine is going to fall short. I have just one thing in mind. And that is that I will follow Christ. I'll follow Jesus. I'll always follow Jesus.